garden. It's just gone wild. It does need a bit of a slash around here, but just wanted to do a bit of a update. There's tomatoes galore on this tomato, and or on these tomato plants. And there's also pumpkins on the little pumpkin there. There's chilies on the chili. It's just awesome. I'm not sure why everything was so late, because summer's sort of in its last stages now. There's a zucchini plant there, and the rock melon behind there is just loaded in the gardens. Look at these pumpkin plants over here, they've just taken over. I could cut them back, I suppose, but I don't mind them taking over that area, that's fine. I'm going to let them, and hopefully they'll pumpkin up soon. Again, don't know why everything's so late this year, but anyway, we'll go and have a look at the trees in a minute. In the background you can hear the birds. Yeah, I'm going to throw some more mulch on the garden. I try and take a bit down every day, but it's been way too hot lately, so I haven't. But this will help break down that horrible soil, bring the worms in, and also give it some sun protection. So I've got the mulch pile here from all the horse manure, goat manure, the stable muck, all that sort of stuff. Pick it all up by hand, stick it in the wheelbarrow and take a load down and spread it around the trees to give them some sun protection and nutrients and all that kind of good stuff. So here we have the mulberry tree. It's been there for a couple of months now. As you can see, very well established, doing pretty well actually. Probably the best out of the four of them. The next best one is over here. Alright, here you go. It's probably the tallest one. No idea why these ones have gone better than the other two, but there you go. We've actually got potatoes growing here. Little Zeppelin came out and planted potatoes everywhere because I asked him to, because I thought it'd be a bit fun, because we picked them not long beforehand, so I thought it'd be good for him to learn. And I don't really mind them growing out here because they break up the soil a bit. So, you know, if they grew, they grew. If they didn't, they didn't. And they have, so that's great. Here we have weeds. Weeds, 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 weeds everywhere. Alright, down in here is the little elderberry tree. Little fella. He's only been in for about a month. Got it off eBay, and it's actually doing pretty well, considering. Apparently they're not very drought tolerant, but that's why I've mulched it so heavily, because underneath the mulch is still very damp, so he's doing pretty well. We have had a bit of rain here recently, and because I've mulched all the plants, it holds the water in a bit. So also there's natural sort of dips in the ground where the horses have been buried and stuff like that. A lot of these trees are growing on horses. Penny's pear tree over here, I just heavily mulched that because it was drying out a little bit, but you can see it's quite healthy. It's been there for 18 months odd now, growing really well. Hopefully, I don't know if we will, but hopefully we'll get maybe a couple of pears off it next year. It was flowering this year. It's a three-way pear, so it should be in the word. It should give me some pears this year, hopefully, and it should pollinate itself, cross-pollinate, because I need male and female and whatever trees to pollinate the pears, because it's a three-way. It's supposed to have been pollinated. Whether that's true or not, we will find out. Being very close to that pear tree, because in the garden that I want to set up, close succession planting is the key, because you want to create a canopy for the other things to grow under. So here we have the other mulberry. It's still healthy, still pretty good. It's just smaller. I don't know, it started to grow now, started to grow quite well, but yeah, it stayed quite small for quite some time. It's certainly not caught up with the others. Maybe there's not enough nutrients in that particular soil. I've mulched it the same as the others, probably a little bit more so. But here's our little one over here, the smallest one. It probably gets the most sunlight, so maybe that's got something to do with why it's so small. Again, not looking too bad. The soil that they're growing in here isn't the best. It's clay soil, so you know, it's just an experiment really. I got these plants pretty cheap, but I do expect that they will grow. It is starting to pick up now and grow, which is good. But again, mulch all down here. It's quite warm on top of the mulch. As you go down, it cools off and gets quite moist under there, so it's got plenty of water, hopefully plenty of worm activity under there too. Oh, go away battery thing. Okay, next, last but not least, here we have the little tiny lemon tree. It's been in, I'll try and get a good shot, there we go. It's been in the ground for about a year at least. It did start to grow really well, and then for some reason in the transition from spring to winter, from winter to spring, sorry, of course, it'd be a bit worrying if we were going from spring to winter. We lost all our leaves for some reason. It has shot back up, thankfully. It's growing another branch here. I don't know why it did that. It's heavily mulched, as you can see, and yeah, so hopefully we will get it growing well this year. Just flip that thing off. And hopefully it won't lose all its leaves in that transition. You would think it would lose leaves coming into winter, but no, it had its leaves all through winter, and as soon as we hit spring, probably because it was funny weather, it sort of went hot, cold, and then really hot. It just lost its leaves. So anyway, that's the foundation of this garden. I will be putting wood chips, I will be slashing all this down, or at least letting the horses in to eat it all probably, and getting rid of all this grass and weeds and so forth that's here, and then I will be putting the mulch and the manure and the compost down and the wood chips over the top, and hopefully in a couple of years this will be a fully established forest, food forest. So there you go, that's the garden update this week. Thanks for watching, well probably this month because I've been so bloody slack, but thanks for watching anyway. And you know, if you have any tips, let me know. If you learned something, let me know. I hope you did learn something. If not, well, you know, yeah, I do apologise. Maybe I need to work on some more interesting material. Hopefully I'll have a video coming up later today on how to put a bridle on a horse that doesn't really want the bridle on. Okay, thank you all.